Hey everyone, it's God Forgive Me, here to bring you another Skyreacher update video, this update titled 12.2.0. But before we dive right in, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button as it really supports the channel. I appreciate you taking the time to do that, and now we can go ahead and dive right into this update. This update brings some really cool quality of life updates. As I'm sure you can notice on my hotbar down here, things have gotten way more colorful. This update brings rarity types and different visual cues for all items. I love this because it's common in RPGs, especially ARPGs like Diablo, Last Epoch, and Path of Exile, to give these visual representations of the rarity of an item that you have. This is great for new players or just players who don't have access to maybe the Discord or the price guide, and it gives them an idea of which items are worth keeping and which they can go ahead and sell away to an NPC. But let's go ahead and go over all these rarities. First, we have the common items with the gray background, and it's basically what it sounds like. These are your easy to get items, and it's really including most of the shop items. After that, we have the uncommon items with the green background. These are not hard, but they're also not as easy. A great example of this is the feather glider, as you do have to do a little bit of work to go ahead and make it, or say the rattle drops, where bones are common, and then there's also skulls, which are still pretty easy, but they're a little bit harder, making them uncommon. Then, sporting the blue background, we have the rare items. Now, I'd say these aren't terribly difficult to get, but these are items that you will go ahead and use on your way to get to the end game. Great example of these are like the gold tools, like the scythe and the sword, the reinforced fishing rod, springs, and Arachnella's fangs. There's definitely items that you're going to go ahead and use as you progress, but they may not be what you'll be using at the end game. Next, we have the epic rarity with a purple background. These are your typical high-end items that you're definitely excited that you got them, but we're not at end game yet. Great example of these are most of the mob essences, the treasure chests, the non-boss mob blocks, and the bard coin. So you definitely got to put some work into getting these as you work your way towards the endgame items. And some of these you may even still use, like these strawberry pies are easy to make and they're great for healing, but they're not the best healing item. So many people use the elect to go ahead and do these just because of how easy it is to make them and how great they are for healing. Then there's the legendary rarity with a cool golden background. Typically, the best endgame tools fall into this category. Examples of this are the Deathstalker, the Timberbane, and the Runebreaker, but it also has other hard-to-get items like the Oberon's Coin, the Boss Mob Blocks, and the Laughing Skull. So these are definitely the ones that you have to put the most work to get into them, and some of them you even have to craft, like with the Deathstalker, where you have to make all these other swords to go ahead and combine it to make the Deathstalker. So it does take some work, but it's definitely worth the grind at the end. Next, we have the Mythic rarity with the red background. These are typically your chase items like the Realm Key and the Lost Radio. They're always in the game, but they're really difficult to get. I can't wait to see what more items they add in the future that are going to fall into this category. Then with the light purple background, we have the Unique rarity. These are typically items that are exclusive in nature or they're limited in the number of quantity that you can have. Example of this are like the collection items like the Pixel Tool, or back when there was the daily reward system with the Moolah Scythe, before it was removed, or for examples like the mods giving away their Moolah items or any of the partner or dev blocks, as you can see right here. Then we have the premium items with the light green background. These are items that are only obtainable through the shop and buying them. This is both the ones that are no longer available and the ones that you can currently buy, such as if you go to the shop here, we go to say other, we got the obby blocks, or we also have the white and calico cat pets. Then finally, we have the limited event items. Now, there are different types of these, and they each have their own different color scheme based off the limited time event that they came from. Example of this, we have here for the Valentine's Day event, the Lunar New Year event, the Easter event, the anniversary event, the Halloween event, and the Christmas event each year. Now, they do have the same color scheme even if it's from different years. For example, the Bat Wing Glider from 2025 and the trick-or-treat bags from the original 2024 Halloween event. So overall, I love the different color schemes here. It makes it so much more visibly pleasing. If you're not really a fan of it, there was some feedback that was given to Eggman, and he did say that in the future he does plan on giving a toggle in the settings, so that way you can go ahead and turn them off if you don't like seeing all of this different colors. But me personally, I'll be rocking with this because I think this looks very cool, and it makes it easier for me to go ahead and understand what should I keep and what should I go ahead and get rid of. Along with this cool new color display for the rarities, the tooltip was also updated to provide way more information. For example, look at the Deathstalker. Items now have the ability to have up to 2 subcategories such as tool and weapon, and it also provides way more information such as telling you how much damage this weapon deals, which is 110 damage to the mobs. Then you can look at, say, the frostbite, which will then show a lot of the same information, but it deals 75 damage. But we can look at, say, the strawberry pies, and it shows that it will heal you for 40 HP. So again, a great way to go ahead and get more information on how to get an item or exactly what it does, for example, how long it takes for a seed to grow in its full time. This update also comes with some cool UI enhancements, such as it will automatically adjust based off your screen size, as well as you can go into this settings tab here and pick how big do you want the item frame size to be. So you could make it smaller so you can see a lot more items, or if you don't feel like squinting, you can go ahead and make it bigger and go ahead and look at it very much more clearly. So I love this because it really lets you pick how do you want to see your inventory when you go ahead and open it. Next, they fixed a damage bug that was causing more damage to be dealt to mobs than it was originally intended, and they also made it so that way any damage dealt to a mob is rounded to the nearest 10th, so you'll no longer see some weird pop-up numbers when you say you're fighting mobs and you're running any kind of damage boosts, as this was quite common at that time. In some miscellaneous items, they did fix a typo in one of the quests. The Easter event has now been removed, so the mods can no longer grant you Mula's egg, but they are able to go ahead and grant you Mula's plushies again. And they did expand the castle gallery to go ahead and add the fan art winners, as well as they did add some new items to Gideon shops of those fan arts. So let's go ahead and check that out. So as you can see here, they made it much bigger, and here's all of the fan arts from both the previous and the new fan art contest, and I just love on how these look. And I've always said I wish I could put some of these on my island, so guess what? Now let's go to Gideon and check that out. Now that we're at Gideon's, we go ahead and type fan, and you're going to see they now have 6 paintings that you can go ahead and purchase. Each of them costs 1 million coins, so they're not cheap, but they're not too expensive either. And I love looking at each of these, and I definitely plan on go ahead and putting these on my island throughout my castle. So with that being said, I do have to go ahead and get some of these. And I think 100 of each should be sufficient. Now, keep in mind, there are no plans of making these limited or remove them from the game. At least that's what Ashlyn told me when I asked her. Lastly, this update added the Season 2 leaderboard reward, and Ashlyn is currently actively trying to track down all the winners so she can go ahead and grant them their reward. This new reward is a radiant crown, but this time the colors are more gold and purple. So let me go ahead and give you an example of the two. This is the new one. This is the old one. Season 1, Season 2. Season 1, Season 2. For obvious gold reasons, I particularly like the Season 2 more than Season 1. Well, that's all I had for you, and that's the update. I hope you found this video helpful and you learned something new. I can't wait to see what Eggman is cooking up, and I look forward to seeing you all in the game. But until then, as always, good morning, good day, good night, and God bless. Thanks for watching.